We are back here on twitch.tv/Final Encountercast with our E3 2016 wrap-up of the Nintendo conference. Joining me, we've got Callie and Chris. Thank you guys for watching this with me this morning. Just a real quick note to the guy who said I reported this channel because the host is a douchebag. Good, go fuck yourself. I'm glad you did. We'll see if anything. We'll see if anything happens from your report. It won't. Spoiler alert.
Twitch has an entire file cabinet overflowing with those reports at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure that this channel has been reported for far, far, far more egregious crimes or acts of TOS violations. Man, get fucked, bro. You're not going to do anything here. All right. So thank you for joining us here on twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. We know that there are a lot of viewing options for E3, and it's cool that you guys would spend your time with us. We've got Kookie live on the E3 show floor. She was not wasting her time with the Nintendo conference, which good. Good for her. Good for her. She is off doing something far more worthy of her time, I am sure, but she is busy collecting experiences live from the E3 show floor as well as interviews. We're going to be collecting all of that and putting that together for a live show June 19th. Make sure you tune in here June 19th. That's Sunday at 5 p.m. We're going to be breaking down all of the announcements from E3 2016, talking to Kookie about her experiences and listening to the exclusive interviews that she's collecting on the show floor. All right, guys, let's talk about Nintendo's extremely disappointing press conference from E3 2016. We got an hour's worth, almost an hour's worth of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then we got Zelda. So, this is... I don't really know what to say, guys. I mean, there's so little to talk about here.
I think we know why they were last.
Everything from presentation to content was a dumpster fire.
It really horrible. Was.
They didn't even it wasn't even like they were spicing it up and trying to have some flair about it. Where's the orchestra? Come on.
Right. Try just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Just try a little bit. Nintendo, I mean, Nintendo hasn't really shown up to E3 for years, and I think it's disappointing because they've got a really good, I mean, I don't mean this literally as when I say they have a good stage. They clearly did not put up a very good stage presentation or a very good even E3 presentation, but they've got a good promotional stage at E3 to be able to make announcements like this. And I feel like even big hardware announcements, E3 just is not the time or the place for them anymore. Like E3, Sony, I think, has proved in their press conference alone that it is about the games, man. Like, what wins the day is the games. Microsoft announcing new hardware, but that barely even made a ripple. I mean, right. I sort of feel like, given the spread of conferences that we've seen, it's about the games, man.
Well, you got it just right. Like, the big thing for Sony might have been the PSVR, but it was that Resident Evil trailer that sold it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess Nintendo did show us the games, but 2 of them and way too much.
Excuse you, there were 3. Thank you very much.
Sun and Moon.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I don't like this. I'm starting to understand the way Juxta thinks. That's dangerous.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
No.
Don't encourage that.
The insanity has set in.
Yes, that's right. So let's talk about Pokemon, because we spent a lot of time with it. Chris, you are very, very, very tuned in to the Pokemon scene. You were saying the entire time that this is all shit that you have seen before.
Yeah, pretty much everything has been... I don't know. I don't think it was leaked because it was on the official Pokemon YouTube channel, like as the little previews and stuff. So it's all stuff that if you're super tuned into the new Pokemon news, then you've seen this stuff before.
Right.
But again, it hasn't actually been released in any official capacity, like not on like like on like a treehouse or a direct news thing. So, I mean, it's new to a lot of people. So I guess they got that going for them.
I guess. Dude, I don't even know, man. Was there anything that you saw that you hadn't seen before? I mean, there were two new Pokemon that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And then the new battle type.
Yeah, there was about 2 new Pokemon out of a we're assuming 70 new ones. So I guess that's great job, Nintendo.
I think he said 100 new ones.
100 new ones? Okay,
I think
100 new ones. Last time it was 70. So, the new Battle Royale feature is really cool. It's basically like a free-for-all where you fight against 3 other people in a 4-player match, and it's like it's everyone for themselves. It's a battle royale. So that was actually interesting, and they spent the least amount of time on that. So that's pretty much Nintendo for the course.
Yeah. Well, I've got to wonder, is this going to be available to play? Like, is that like you get 4 of your friends and that's who you're battling, or?
Yeah, I assume so. I can't imagine that they're going to introduce the battle royale as like a main part of the game. Maybe as like a one-of side content thing.
Right, there might be one spot where you have to do it, but
yeah, I don't.
Like maybe just to like unlock the capability of participating in it.
Right, exactly. So, but I mean, that was really cool. I thought that the free-for-all thing was kind of something that kind of was missing from Pokemon, but I never really knew about it. A good thing that I never knew we missed. Another thing. We're grasping at straws, but a quality of life change was to be able to see the stat ups or stat downs based on the Pokemon that they've taken, which is a nice quality of life change.
That is a nice quality of life change. However, I feel like status effects aren't really that used in Pokemon. Now,
not in the main game now.
Yeah,
in the competitive scene they are, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just say that there's a competitive scene? Ugh.
There's a huge competitive scene for Pokemon.
You don't even want to know. Like, you think you don't want to know, but you really don't want to know. Okay?
You're right. I think you're very right.
You don't understand how right I am, okay? So we'll just leave it at that.
So, your hype meter for Sun and Moon previous to this, I mean, what would you... I feel like...
5.6 ish, between 5 and 6.
Did this move the needle at all?
No, it really hasn't. Maybe like by a point or so, but I mean, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. It's another Pokemon game. We're going to Hawaii now. The Pokemon are going to be new. It's the same, more of the same old shit, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, actually on Nintendo's channel, they're climbing up that ladder.
Climbing that ladder.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that. Okay, well, it's just the top.
It's just the top.
Okay, nothing up there.
Nothing that important.
Much like, what a great allegory for that whole press conference. There's nothing there.
Yeah, kinda. It really does. So, Callie, how about you? Are you even a Pokemon fan?
I played Gold, Silver, then I jumped out until XY. I enjoyed XY, but like Sun and Moon didn't make me jump up and down and scream, and that certainly didn't change that. I would say hype meter 3 or 4. I guess I might. It's 3DS, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll play it.
And boy, did that ever drag. That portion of the conference dragged on and on and on.
Like you're showing off the game and you're showing Route 1, the most boring part of the game.
Right.
Well,
I mean, I know you can't show off like late game, but come on.
Oh, and that's the thing that I said. Like it's Pokemon. It's literally everything that you expect out of Pokemon is in that game. It is another Pokemon game. At least when they started showing Zelda stuff, it's new and there's stuff to digest there. But Pokemon.
But this is the only title that Nintendo shows up to E3 with. You know what I mean?
Well, that actually was an interesting contrast, because you have Pokemon, which is at its core is taking no chances. It is pretty much exactly what you expect. And then Zelda, which is going in a very different direction for the series, which is interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
can we start talking about Zelda?
Let's talk about Zelda, because there's some interesting choices going on here. So we're actually we're now just watching the stream out of the corner of my eye. We're getting a kind of a good idea of how big the map is going to be. It does actually seem like quite a large map.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I had said early on, was that, does the size of the map match, does it measure up when compared to against games like Grand Theft Auto 5 or The Witcher or, even Assassin's Creed, that have had these large open world aspects to them for, many entries in their series. And it does look like, in fact, the map is going to be quite large. So
right.
that's
one thing that's interesting about it is, think back to Ocarina of Time. On that map, how close together Death Mountain and the Temple of Time are. And then look at, like, in this, when you're standing near the Temple of Time, Death Mountain is so far off near the horizon. It's like, wow, that is actually humongous.
Yeah, it really is. It's a very large, very expansive map. And I feel like, you really don't even get a good sense of the scale, even through the demo that we were shown. I think that there's, we gotta just like a very basic idea of how big the map is through the tablet-like thing that exists in the game. Let's talk about the tablet.
The Hylian slate. Wait, what was the Hylian slate? I don't think. No, the Sheikah slate.
What? What is going on there? Like what? I mean,
Every game has to have a tablet.
But I know that they've got to find a use for the tablet with the Wii U. And they said that technology is going to be a big theme here. I mean, I've been tuned out for of Zelda for so damn long. Is this good? I mean, is this a smart move for them?
I don't know if it's a smart or a dumb move. It's just, well, that happened.
It's just the world that this Zelda is in, apparently. I mean, I'm not going to lie either. I've been tuned out from Zelda for a long time as well. I mean, the last one I played was probably Ocarina of Time. And
Jesus, you've been tuned out of it longer than I have, Mr. Nintendo fanboy.
You didn't play Majora's Mask?
No.
Wow. What?
Majora's Mask is great.
It really is.
The last one I, sat down and played was the one where Link turns into a wolf, but I couldn't get out of the tutorial because it was so horribly long.
Link turns into a wolf. Which one's that?
I think that's
Twilight Princess?
Yeah, that's that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't own a GameCube.
Yeah.
I think that was Wii, but whatever.
I think it was on both.
Was it?
Yeah, they like to do that.
Yeah, they do, don't they? So this game, I think we can pretty safely bet, based on the control UI, that it is being played off of Wii U hardware. I'm pretty impressed by what they're able to put out. How much better do you guys think that this is going to look on the NX? It should look way better, but I mean, I
would think a lot.
But it's got a very specific art style going to it too. At the same time, so it's like how much better can it look, even with an improved graphic system? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you think about the difference between this and like Wind Waker, how much better the cell shading looks in this. Apparently you can go a step up. Can it get another step up for the NX? I think maybe not so much in the character models, but more in the environmental effects.
But with Wind Waker, I mean, like, did the graphics really improve that drastically?
Do you remember what Wind Waker looks like?
No, I never played Wind Waker.
It improved drastically.
Did it? Waker, okay, yes. All right, fair enough.
Well, I mean, I didn't think Wind Waker's graphics were bad. I mean, obviously they were super cartoony, but that was like the art style and the art direction, which was fine, I thought.
But like, still going from GameCube to like this on Wii U, I think the graphics are a big step up from Wind Waker.
That's true. Yeah, they're a lot more refined.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but a lot of the other games that I've seen during E3 that had that art or that colorful art style, like I'm actually kind of disappointed with the way that the Zelda looks on the Wii U. So
Is that right?
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the NX makes it look better, but I'm not holding my breath too much.
I mean,
It's hard to say because we know nothing about the NX. We know zero about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I saw in the chat a lot of comments that the rock textures weren't very impressive. I actually think that even the resolution that the game is at is probably 720 if I had to eyeball it. And I mean, that which makes sense for the Wii U hardware and and what we know that it can put out graphically. It's just they've definitely had to make some sacrifices to be able to make as big of a world as they have, and I really do feel like this is going to be a much better experience on the NX. And I'm really disappointed that we did not hear anything about the NX today.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I mean, if you recall back to Microsoft, like how much confusion that we had even with ourselves regarding Project Scorpio, like I don't know if E3 is really the place to showcase your new console if you're not going to showcase new games along with it.
You've got a good point there. You definitely have a good point. And just based on I'm actually looking at this at Nintendo's stream right now, dude. Those rock textures are awful.
Bad.
Awful.
Wow.
Bad.
Wow, are they bad?
I feel like I'm looking at Morrowind.
Right? Jeez.
Brighter colored Morrowind.
I mean, I do feel like that. This is a step up from Skyward Sword, clearly, and the open world thing is cool. But man, if they had to make some very specific graphical sacrifices to be able to pull off what they have here, and I don't know, man. This is definitely not selling hardware for me, and especially knowing that it's also going to be coming out on the NX. Anyone who owns a Wii U probably will buy this. Anyone who doesn't already own a Wii U is not going to buy a Wii U to be able to play this.
No, but I think what this might be doing is, it'll sell to people who own the Wii U, and it might drive some NX sales. But we're going to need more information about it to see that. If this game does look a little better on the NX and it's this like vast of a world, that will sell.
Yeah. Let's talk about the combat style, because I really do feel like that they've taken some serious cues from games like Dark Souls, where you've got the lock-on mechanic. It's very dodge heavy. You're picking up weapons as you go. You're changing weapons. In fact, for the first time, weapons and armor are going to be represented on Link, and he's going to be changing. And it feels very much like what a lot of other RPGs are doing these days. Do you guys think?
Kind of. The one thing I'd say about that is the first time I saw him like lock on and start doing combat, I don't know if I'd say it like completely steals from like Dark Souls. It actually kind of feels like the old Z targeting that was in Ocarina of Time, where you could lock on and jump around back and forth, do your backflip, jump forward and attack. And that's all still there and being represented.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
you can't swing a huge axe around in the old ones and knock people 30 feet back. That's kind of cool.
I suppose you're right. But I mean, weapons having different move sets and stuff like that, that's straight out of Dark Souls. I mean, clearly games borrow from each other all the time. And with Dark Souls being one of the biggest games in the last 10 years, I think that there's clearly going to be a lot of comparisons drawn. I just, for some reason, it didn't feel like a Zelda game to me. It didn't look like a Zelda. I mean, visually it looked like a Zelda game, but in terms of combat, in terms of the item management, the menu, stuff like that, I just didn't feel very much like a Zelda game. It felt very much like another RPG.
It definitely feels different than any Zelda game that I've seen in recent memory, and I don't know that that's a bad thing. I think we've probably had our fill of your prototypical Zelda game, and so to see them go a different route, even if it's not the most original route, is nice to see.
I think it's going to really depend on how the temples feel. Like when you go into a dungeon and you have to do that classic Zelda puzzle solving, I think that's where it's going to feel more like a Zelda game. I mean, assuming that they have that core gameplay mechanic back in this Wind of Breath of Wild or whatever.
Yeah,
that's a really good point, Chris. That we didn't see any dungeons, and that's definitely what Zelda's most known for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do we think about the overworld? I mean, this is a big, open world game. Obviously, we're going to find dungeons. It's not like they're going to remove dungeons from the game. I think probably we've seen some in the distance, as set pieces, and those will most likely act as dungeons. So, what do we think about the overworld? It seemed, pretty well designed. It seemed pretty big. There's a lot of different stuff going on as you watch them explore. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of copy and pasted environments there. So
yeah.
I think that they've done a pretty good job, with the idea of an open world Zelda. Your thoughts on the open worldness? I mean, there's a lot of open world games going around right now, so there's a lot to be able to compare that part of it to.
Is he doing Detective Vision from Batman Arkham? Is that what this is right now?
Probably.
Seems like it.
Scanning enemies and learning their HP and stuff.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm not a fan of the whole open world genre game. I mean, I've never played any of those big games like that. I might give this Zelda a try just because it's Zelda and it seems to try to mix the two seamlessly though. But it looks interesting enough for me to give it a try, and which is more than what I can say about like Morrowind or Skyrim or any of those other open world games, GTA 5.
Go ahead.
I think the overworld looks really good. I do like large open world games. Morrowind was my big one growing up, and I think that they've done a good job with it. You said, Nate, earlier that nothing looks copied and pasted. It doesn't look like they just tried to artificially fill this world. No, it really does look like the whole world has been crafted.
Yeah.
Crafted and sculpted, yeah.
Yeah.
But they did say that all we're seeing is kind of the big plateau area. So maybe as we branch out into the other areas, we might start seeing that a bit. But I don't know. It looks great.
There does seem to be a lot of diversity even in this one area. I think they probably picked this area on purpose to show off at E3.
Yeah.
So, and we get, obviously, we've also got the temperature gauge down there to see how hot or cold Link is, and the attire that you wear will have effects on that. If Link is cold, it looks like he won't perform as well. So you got to put on a heavier tunic to be able to traipse through the snow, which makes me wonder if you go into a fire-based area, do you just run around in a loincloth the entire time, or
Link rocking the man thong?
If we've got a tablet, can we also get a personal AC system instead of that stupid fucking ferry? What are we talking about here? So, it is really interesting. I just don't think it's going to be enough to get me to invest in Nintendo in any way, shape, or form in the next year. How we don't know, when's the next Nintendo Direct conference, and we don't even know if they're going to be talking about the NX for sure at that conference or not. So I think Nintendo fans are probably going to be kind of in a bit of a holding pattern until then, and no release date either. There was no release date attached to this game. We've been hearing about it for a long time. It's been in development for a long time, originally just supposed to be released for the Wii U, and now development shifting also to the NX. It's taken a long time, and there's still no goddamn release date. So I don't know, Chris, as a Nintendo fan, what are you hanging on to at this point? Is it just the bubble?
Pretty much, I guess. I mean, it's
that's sad.
It's basically like all the other IPs, because it's it's a Pokemon game, so you know exactly what to expect. It's a Zelda game, so you have a general idea of what to expect. Basically all the all the retreads, I guess, all the not new IPs they present. It's just like them just taking safe chances, I guess.
It sure is. It sure is. And that is disappointing. Well, guys, I think that is going to wrap it up for our coverage of E3 2016, Nintendo's press conference. Because coming up right now, I guess Square Enix is going to be taking some kind of stage. There are links to the program schedule that Zenoria just provided us with. I'm not sure what's on the Twitch channel at the moment. It looks like
it was the Division earlier. I don't know what it is
looks
now.
yeah, they're looking at that skiing game from yesterday. What was that? Steep. They're looking at Steep right now. It looks like coming up is Injustice and Lego Star Wars. Guys, of course, we don't have permission to broadcast Square Enix's conference. You'll have to find the appropriate links for those. Go tune into that. That's what we're probably going to be doing right now. Guys, thank you so much. We know that you have a lot of choices when it comes to E3 2016 coverage, and we are flattered that you would spend your time here with Final Encountercast. Make sure you check us out on the web, finalencountercast.com. And thank you guys so much for all of your time during E3. Remember to tune in live Sunday, June 19th at 5 p.m. here for our E3 2016 wrap-up. We'll talk to Kooky Persona, who is live out on the E3 conference floor about her experiences, all her hands-on experiences that she got out at E3 2016, as well as exclusive interviews that she's going to be bringing back with her. Guys, thank you so much. That's going to conclude most of the press conferences here from E3 2016. Thanks for tuning in to twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. Have a great rest of E3.